Hi, welcome to Michelle RX, where I'm not only a patient of MS, but I'm also a practitioner. Yes, I go to the hospital. And, well, actually, no, I'm not at the hospital yet. I'm still at home. I am on the floor like a cricket, just crying and like, what in the world is happening to me? Like I didn't see it coming, but it was shocking to hear it in real life. Like, it became very real, very three-dimensional when it was like, no, you have this, and we're ready to start treatment. And so I call my husband in tears, and I call my husband and say, through tears, I have MS. It's been confirmed I have MS. I need to go to the hospital right now because they're waiting on me. So he comes home from work, and I'm still crying. And so he did the most amazing thing that I'd ever seen. Now, mind you, this is my new husband. New husband equals new everything. You don't know how people are going to respond. But my husband comes in, he holds me, and he tells me he's sorry about that I'm going through this, that he's sorry that this happened. And then he kind of sat me down, and he went and got a bag, and he just began to pack my bags. I didn't ask him to pack my bags. I didn't tell him what I needed. He just began to pack my bags, because he knew I was going to be there a while. But that was one of the most amazing acts of compassion. Like, while you deal with this, I will handle this. So he did. He packed my bags. We got the dog fed, and we're off. We go to the hospital, and when we get to the hospital, it was overwhelming. It's different when you go to a hospital as a clinician versus when you go to a hospital as a patient. It's different. It is totally different. This time I went to the hospital as a patient, and I get there, I'm admitted, and while I'm being admitted, the thought in my mind is, what kind of MS do I have? Because mind you, I still am a practitioner. I know that MS comes in different, and MS has there are different types. There's relapsing remitting, there's secondary progressive, and there's primary progressive. And I was like, I wonder what kind I have. And so I still don't know at this time. And as I'm admitted and the tests begin, I have a multitude of tests. And it's funny because as I've gotten the test, as I've gotten another MRI, as I've gotten another lumbar puncture, it was confirmed I actually have MS. And it turned out I have relapsing remitting MS. And as far as MS goes, relapsing remitting is the type of MS where there are different levels of severity. Relapsing remitting, although everybody has different symptomatology, everybody has different lesion placement on their central nervous system, relapsing remitting is, if there was a way to put it, would be the more gentle version. They all are hard. All of them are hard. It just, if you had to categorize, relapsing remitting would be more gentle, if I could say that loosely. It's more gentle. But nevertheless, I ended up having relapsing remitting MS, and the amount of plaques, they're called lesions, on my brain, and the amount I have them on my brain, I have them on my spinal cord, and I have them on my spine, and I have a lot. And that explained why I had such severe heat intolerance. That explained why I had trouble with my fine motor skills. That explained why I had trouble with my mobility. The specifics later, but that explained it. My MRI lit up like a Christmas tree. It was a lot. But nevertheless, as I was in the hospital, I received treatment. You receive steroids when you have a relapse. Because it's an entire inflammatory process, and the way you get rid of inflammation is an anti-inflammatory. And so, and this was an acute situation. This was not a situation where you can just say, this was not a situation where you could handle it lightly. When you have a relapse with MS, you need to be treated immediately. You need to be treated immediately. And I was treated with IV steroids immediately. And at the time, practice dictated, because everything is evidence-based in medicine, and I knew at the time what this drug was, but I never thought I would get it. I did get chemotherapy while I was in the hospital, and funny thing, this was funny actually, the dose of the chemotherapy that I was supposed to get, when they brought it to my room, the nurse was about to hang it, and I, in my pharmacy mind, I was like, what is that? And she told me what it was, and I was like, can you show me the dose? And she showed me the dose. And I mean, you cannot be what you're not. I am a pharmacist and I am a patient. So I asked her to show me the dose, and she said, okay. So she told me the dose, and I said, can you wait before you administer that? And she waited. I mean, it wasn't urgent. It was a once a day thing, so she could wait a few minutes. So I actually called a friend who is also a pharmacist, and she got me a monograph, and I read about the drug while I was in the hospital bed, and I read about the drug, and I remember thinking, and it looked like my dose was a little different than it should have been. And so I talked to the doctor about it, and it was readjusted, and I think I made him upset. I didn't mean to. I mean, I'm not saying question your doctor. I'm not saying don't do what you're told. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I actually did what I actually do every day for myself. I advocate for people every day. I am on a medical team every day. So why would I not do that for myself that day? So that's what I did. And it turned out, we needed to make some adjustments. And I did get the drug, and it was vicious. It was vicious. What I mean by that was, it was blue. It was a blue drug. And it turned the sclera of my eyes blue. It turned my fingernails blue. It turned my toenails blue. I mean, it was vicious, and a lot of nausea, all the things. But all while this is happening, my husband is as steady as can be. As steady as can be. And I'm still amazed when I look back on it at how unwavering he was. Because I'm still his new wife with a new diagnosis. And we're still relatively new practitioners. So when I think about it, just in having this conversation with you guys, I'm more amazed with my husband now than I think I've been in the past, because that is amazing to be able to take that much information in and handle it. And he did. He handled it. Well, as we move even further, I go home, and when I go home, it's a lot. I have to figure out how to live my life now with this new disease. And I would, if I were the clinician, I would tell the patient, you need to start therapy immediately. Do not wait to start therapy. Why? Because the more relapses you have, the harder this will be for you later. So immediate treatment is paramount. I would tell a patient that. But me, as the patient, I was nervous. I was so nervous, because that meant that I was going to have to start getting injections every other day. I was nervous. So one thing my husband said to me was, he goes, what would you tell somebody else to do? I said, I would tell them to start treatment. He said, doesn't that apply to you too? I was like, yeah, yeah, it does. It does apply to me. So I did begin treatment. I started a drug that was a subcutaneous IV injection. And I'm not sure if this is normal for other people. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people do what they have to do. But my husband, it became a game where he injected me every other day with this drug. And by him injecting me with this drug every other day, I still was able to function. I still was able to work. I still was able to be a part of my own narrative. So I just wanted to let you know that this was hard. This was the beginning of a very long journey. But being diagnosed with MS, oof, it's a lot. So we will talk about treatments, and we will talk about it. But yeah, this was tough. Well, I wanted to tell everybody, thank you so much for listening to my musings and talking about my diagnosis with MS, but also for being attentive to the fact that I'm a patient just like anybody else would be a patient, but I'm also a practitioner. So I see it differently. I see it through a different lens in many cases. So thank you so much for joining me, and I would love to see you in the next video. So please like, comment, and subscribe. I read all the comments. I will respond. At least I try my best to respond. But thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.